Hey folks, welcome to the 2021 virtual family weekend tour, and believe it or not, we're starting at the Center for Wildlife Education and the Lamar Q. Ball Junior Raptor Center. Wow, that's a whole lot, but we just affectionately call it here at Georgia Southern, we call it the Wildlife Center. And my name is Steve Hein. I'm the founder and executive director of the Wildlife Center. Got the greatest job on campus, I got to tell you. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm delighted to maybe serve as a somewhat quasi host here. But as we got ready to do this, came up here, I have Allison here who shared with me a story that is so Georgia Southern, that is so the Wildlife Center, that she's going to steal the thunder. I just want to ask you a few questions about our first encounter and how that kind of relates to Georgia Southern and what we do here at the Wildlife Center. So do tell me, where are you from originally?
I'm actually from, if people do believe in it, central New Jersey, up towards the north end of the...
From New Jersey to Georgia Southern, and walk me through that as best you can, because that's a... but I understand we met before, and it was maybe a meaningful encounter.
My father, mother, and I, we came down south for a tour of Georgia Southern and tried to give ourselves a little bit of time and decided to try out Zaxby's. And while we were there, of course, my dad picked up on the Georgia Southern apparel that Steve was wearing and felt the need to just go up to him and talk, which is not your typical Northern Jersey culture stereotype that I bet you can understand. So my dad got talking to Steve and discovered that he was the founder of the Wildlife Preserve here on campus, which is definitely something that caught my dad's attention. Growing up, he was really into animals, and Steve was nice enough to offer to come show us the Wildlife Preserve before I was even going to be given my campus tour.
Wow, and so you came here, and did I do as I traditionally do, is introduce you to some of the animals?
Yes, you introduced me to some of the animals. I was very fortunate to get to meet Freedom, along with some of your lovely snakes you have in the Wildlife Preserve that I am not normally a fan of, but it is definitely a reason that I chose to come to Georgia Southern. Well,
and we're going to get a reintroduction with Allison and some of those very same, and maybe a few more things. We're putting her to the test to see what she learned, but you were saying that had some impact upon you in terms of your final decision as to how old were you at the time?
I was a junior in high school. It was during my spring break time, my junior year, so I believe I was about 16, maybe 17. It kind of is all a blur, high school.
But that was a factor, that chance encounter, and coming to the Wildlife Center was an impact in your final decision.
Yeah, it was just coming down here, you hear that the Southern hospitality is something so big down here. Everyone's super duper nice and sweet. And to have Steve encounter my family and I and take the three of us in and take his time out of his day to show us and teach me the lesson of overcoming fears, it really just showed me what the true Georgia Southern experience is supposed to be like here on campus.
That is a beautiful, beautiful segue, because now we're going to do that virtually again. We don't have much of a choice. Wish all of you out there in Wonderland could be with us, because I would really seize that opportunity to traumatize you as equally as I did Allison. But because we can't, why don't we head on in and take a look around? Let's go this way, Allison, and we'll just stand here. We are in one of the main exhibits here, which we call the Down to Earth Encounters. We utilize it for the many school groups that bring it through here. But this strikes a chord with you, yes. I can tell, because this is, I think, where I first traumatized you. Is that not right?
Yeah, slightly.
What was it that I had?
A corn snake.
A corn snake. You know, it just happens to be that I have a corn snake, I think. Wayne, do you have a corn snake here?
I think so.
So here we go. Our education coordinator, Wayne, is handing me this. This is actually what really kind of caused you to be a little bit nervous. I remember the issue that you came here and you really were not too sure what to do around snakes. So what I want you to do, Allison, is put your hands out there, and you got a viewing audience here. So we're going to do that, get them a little bit wider so you're ready to handle them. There you go. Oh. Okay, keep breathing though. Okay. I think, is the mic picking it up? No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Here's the point. Keep breathing. The color's changing here. But the point is, it's all about education here at the Wildlife Center. When people see snakes, they tend to either scream, and I'm glad you didn't scream. There we go. They scream, and just hold them while I talk for a second. They scream, they run, and ultimately they want to kill the snake. So the Wildlife Center exists for people like Allison in our wonderland here, that we actually educate you just like Georgia Southern, it's the overarching, we need to be educated. So you have passed with flying colors. First time, I think you said you were tearful.
A little more than just tearful, yeah.
Well, okay. So we want everybody out there who's watching the video, come join me. I'll do the same thing for you. I'll traumatize you with a wonderful corn snake. You did really well. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next location. Come on in here. Take a look at this, Allison.
Wow.
Take a look at her. Is that not a little bit bigger than a corn snake?
A little?
Just a little bit. She is actually, this is a Burmese python female. She's 14 feet plus. We have weighed her. She's probably tipping the scales at, oh, look at the head moving there. But we got glass, so we're safe. But anyway, she probably weighs about 125 to 30 pounds. I think she's picking up the camera right now, and she's wanting to go after our camera woman. Let's hope not. But no, actually, I'm having fun with it. But the reason we're here in this exhibit, Allison, is this, that we put this exhibit in a couple years ago. It's roughly, we've got a keen interest in you, Allison, the snake does. Maybe she knows that you've had your epiphany and you've come to understand snakes. They're not bad, they just have a real place. But back to the exhibit, approximately a $250,000 that was spent to really talk with the general public about invasive species. Invasive species are critical to the ecosystem. You know, we're here at a Wildlife Center on the campus of Georgia Southern University, but very few people have a good working explanation of what an invasive species is. And not that it's particularly complex, but in short, it just means that animals that are not supposed to be here, that have come by one means or the other. But the telling story of the tape, if you will, is that 50%, Allison, of the animals that are either on the endangered or threatened species list, either on the federal list or the Georgia's list, animals that are in peril are there actually because of the invasive species, meaning they're out competing with the ones that this guy or gal in the Everglades. They now estimate the number of Burmese pythons that are loose in the Everglades at upwards of 150 to 200,000, and they're killing everything. They're decimating the population. So again, we as an informed public, through higher ed institutions, Wildlife Center, are trying to really make people aware that there's a problem out there, and invasive species like the big Burmese python is a real big part of that problem. Why don't we continue on? You know, here's the opportunity, Allison, to tell you about how the Wildlife Center actually got it started. It's one of the, I don't know that you've heard this one before, but I tell it so very often, and I look forward to sharing it with you folks at home. Simply this, that you've been here, you're a freshman, you were just telling me. Mm-hmm. You're probably aware that we have like a really, really great football team. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard it a few times.
A few times. You do hear that at Georgia Southern, and I invite everybody to come to a game. It's pretty incredible. But it is this, that the entire Wildlife Center, which we are now 18 acres, a little bit over $3 million invested, was due to a bird flying over a football game, a fall football game in 1990. A bird flew over, and they said, there's Georgia Southern's mascot. And that would, of course, be a bald eagle, our national symbol as well. But on that fateful day, it was a turkey vulture. A turkey vulture flying over the stadium was the driver, because a local businessman who witnessed that, who went to Georgia Southern, came to me and said, hey, Steve, you know about birds of prey. You're this falconer, this weird guy, and still that weird guy, but said, can we get an eagle at Georgia Southern? He gave the president, 5 presidents ago, $10,000 in my name to see if we could bring an eagle to Georgia Southern University and fly it at the stadium. And that eagle that we do that is, what's his name?
Freedom.
Freedom. So it's actually full circle. This statue right here is dedicated to the person who had the idea of bringing an eagle to Georgia Southern University, Harry Matthews. It was dedicated, this statue, to him. It was his idea, certainly not mine. And thanks to him and a great many other people, and of course Georgia Southern University, we're at the Wildlife Center, and we're continuing to educate and invite people to visit Georgia Southern and, of course, the Wildlife Center. Let's move on to our next location. So we are walking in, Allison, to the Amphitheater, and I'm going to ask you to join me on stage.
Oh, goody.
You have no idea what's coming at you, but no, actually, in truth, the Amphitheater, again, we opened in 1997. It's a place where we bring man and nature together. Everything about the center is about man and nature and these intimate moments. So I think it's time to kind of push it a little bit, and I want you to look at that. And we are outside, so we've got the mask off, but we're safe distance. But are you up for it?
Yeah, I am.
Well, tell them. Don't try to convince me. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. I've got my student staff that's going to bring something out here, and I want you to come this way. Make sure right about there. Perfect. And you can look that way. It's coming. We're not going to hide it from you. It's you know, we got a theme going here. We got a theme. We have snakes. Keep breathing now. I'm going to help you, Allison. I'm going to help you. We have a snake here. Put your hands out. No. You're good.
It's
you're
shedding.
Good. But look right there. Yeah, you're doing so good. That is excellent. See, and it's not a big one.
This is not big.
This is not big. The other one's 14 feet. You know, this is probably about I don't know how big.
Maybe about 7 or 8.
Yeah. So and Carson is a fellow. What year are you here?
I am a sophomore.
Sophomore. She meet Allison. She is and all the way from New Jersey. And where's
Georgia,
home?
right here.
Right here, Georgia. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ask you to put your hands down. Okay. This is all about trust.
Okay.
And we're gonna for your mom and dad back in New Jersey. Now put your hand up here. Just support its weight. And the same thing here. You need to keep breathing. You look like you're. There we go. Look at that. You're doing it all by yourself. That is a Kodak moment. I still don't think you're breathing enough. I don't want you to buckle. So, hey, this is outstanding. You have so passed the test. Look at that. You okay?
Yeah, I thought I did a lot better than I thought I would.
Yeah, but I could tell you were overcome. So again, to our viewing audience, we try to be responsible about it. You noticed I had someone help me. That's a big snake. It's an albino Burmese python, just like the very large one that we saw in the invasive species. They are, as I said, a real problem. But there's no reason we can't have a moment here and enjoy it. So we're going to bring something else out. I don't know I never know what the student staffs are going to bring us. So take a look. Oh, here we go. Carson, if you'll bring this out, take a look at that. This is, hey, for the people out there in Wonderland, take a look and what do you think this might be?
Looks like an owl.
It's an owl, very good. Is it a baby or an adult?
I feel like it's a baby.
Very good, but you're absolutely incorrect. That is full grown. That's a full grown. It's eastern red-faced screech owl. They actually have them in New Jersey as well. So that's full grown. That's as big as it's going to get. But what I have to note here is you did what everybody else does, and when they see that, because of the diminutive little size, they go, "Oh, he's so cute." The truth is, that's a killer. Okay, it's every business. Well, I'm just speaking the truth. It's a killer. It's designed. It's a raptor or a bird of prey, just like our national symbol, just like freedom, who we're going to meet in a little while. It's designed to capture and kill. So if you look at it, look at the talons. See, that's the reason Carson has a glove there. There's very large talons. It's got the large eyes to be able to see it, and then it's got the curvature of the beak that allows it to kind of rip apart that field mouse. So again, we have these birds and many of the animals because they're non-releasable, and we provide a space for them to live out their years, but also using them for education. So we're gonna let Carson bring that one back, and bear with me. So you saw that.
Definitely staring into my soul.
Oh well, you think you had a good stare down? We're gonna bring out something that really stares you down, and really one of the biggest stars at the Wildlife Center. In some cases, even dare I say, challenges freedom in terms of an attention getter. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, is Adam bringing this one out? Man, it's Adam checked out. So another one of our fine students here, Georgia Southern students that help run the Wildlife Center. And so take a look at what we have here. Let her mount back up. Look at the first thing. You're okay. I just said she's impressive. Here she comes. This is the largest. We went from the smallest, Allison, to the largest. And what Adam has here, and come a little bit closer. There we go. Just turn that way. You're fine. Come a little bit closer. Okay, that's a Eurasian eagle. You're pretty fixated, by the way. Look at the look there. But it's the largest species of owl. Not that she is, but the Eurasian eagle owl. They're called eagle owl because they are literally approaching the size. Now look at the eyes. You talk about fixated.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is absolutely gorgeous. But on the other hand, when you talk about a stone cold killer, her weaponry, her talons are second to none. They're actually larger than Freedom's talons, so very, very large. You see the coloration. The modeling here is very, very cryptic. It's designed, if you will, to almost camouflage and sit there dormant. We know that they're nocturnal. They come out at nighttime to hunt. So during the daytime, all that coloration, cryptic, simply meaning camouflage, sitting up next to the bark of a tree, you don't see it. It waits, it's crepuscular to the mornings and the evening. It launches its attack. They have virtually silent flight, make no noise, but their sense of hearing, this is not the ear, by the way, and I just stepped in front of your camera angle, but I will say this, the ears are right beside the eyes, and an owl can hear very, very well. They can see at nighttime, they launch the attack, they make no noise when they're flying, and they grab their prey. So something of this size, you're kind of in the prey base. You're tiny, petite, who knows? But Adam, thank you so much. We're gonna bring out our last one here, and there we go, flew off stage. Now, that we went from the big and the powerful. You've seen Allison already, a 14-foot python. You've handled an 8-foot python, and we saw Susie Q. Now we're gonna, let's hold on. Oh, she's seeing it already.
Oh,
hold on. Okay,
God.
hold on, just give me one. That's good. Oh, give me two. Okay, no, we're just gonna fight. You don't have to do this.
I can't hold that.
Okay, it's not that we're gonna stop running. We're just gonna talk to you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we're not gonna. I promise you. Matter of fact, Carson, just step away so she doesn't even have to worry about you.
Thank you.
It's just me. Yeah. Here's what we've got going on here, and it's a worthy. Thank you. You're repeating like you did last time. A little bit of waterworks there, but she's laughing. And the point is, these are Madagascan hissing cockroaches. They are at the bottom of the food chain, and if you think about it, Georgia Southern's mascot is what? Our mascot. Our mascot, do you know his name? An eagle. Okay, it's an eagle. We identify with top of the food chain predators. An eagle is very, very powerful. You've had a photograph with the eagle. Your parents have had a photograph. You've held a big snake, also powerful. None of those things exist here. And yet, when we react to it, it's real, and thank you so much. You're being so kind to allow us to indulge. But you do understand there's a takeaway, and there's a message not only for environmental field, we're talking about learning about our environment. This cannot hurt you. It's clean to the touch, does not bite, does not sting, but we'll get a photograph with freedom, a big powerful, or something else. So it punctuates the need for education.
Wow, I had no idea that it was actually this big. I thought it was only the front part towards the road.
Well, here we are, Allison. We're at the Wetland Preserve, and you're right, it's a lot bigger. When we originally opened the doors in 1997, we were solely focused on raptors, and we had a few reptiles, not as many.
And bugs.
But we opened in 2009, we opened the Wetland Preserve, which is an additional 12 plus acres. So we're nearly 18 acres right in the heart of Georgia Southern University, your campus. Probably no other university in the country has something like this right here. Now, there are other universities, when I was doing consulting work, that have centers, but nothing that's as inclusive. So it makes Georgia Southern just one of the many things that are special, or is special, about Georgia Southern. The Wetland Preserve is focusing on waterfowl and water, birding, and the nature of water and the importance of water on the ecosystems. So let's take a look. I got some special critters we want to take a look at. None of them are creepy either, I promise you. Come on in, Allison. Let's have a look around. We're here now at the observation deck here at the Waterfowl Pond, and this is almost a third of an acre, totally netted in, and just like everything else here at the Wildlife Center, you've been a great host or victim or whatever, because what we've done is we've made you have that encounter, that close encounter, and we've seen joy from your eyes, we've seen a little bit of fear. I can assure you the waterfowl, which is just another name for ducks, but anyway, a thing of joy and beauty, and really significant. All these ducks here are endemic or indigenous. They're flying around at the mere mention, flying all over. But to talk about the importance of water, and water is critical for really everything. We think about plants and animals as like, and we as human beings. So, but to showcase water, showcase naturally waterfowl is really special. How about a quiz question real quickly? What do we call a male duck? Bingo. Okay, it's called a drake. A drake is, let's one more quick quiz here, and you've not studied for it. So what typically is the more bright or colorful, the male or the female?
I feel like it would be the male. You
are correct, male. So the drake are the more dominant. So when we look around here, a little bit of biology lesson here, when you see the brilliance, the color, it's really the males that shine. So what I want to offer you is a chance to feed. Let me add a camera here. Why don't you toss some food? Just grab some and throw it out there and see if we can draw some in. Yeah, see if they're, just throw it out in the water. See if we'll get some. Look at that. Quick, throw some more. Have a field day with it. Sprinkle them. But this is a great place for our viewing audience to come and learn about and be inspired by nature itself. It also happens to be where faculty and staff will come just to get a little bit of a break. If you think about, we've got 100 or more waterfowl duck here. There's something very kind of calming about seeing ducks moving around. So we wind up here, we stay here, we kind of look at them, and before we know it, we've kind of spent 30 minutes when we probably should have been in class studying. You know, Allison, 18 acres, we've got all kind of wildlife here, and matter of fact, there's some visitors here. Those are Georgia Southern's famous geese. We've got them everywhere, but it is a preserve, 18 acres in the middle, in the heart of a campus of over 20,000 students. Pretty incredible that we have our own little central park. So Allison, here we are, the Wetland Preserve, and it's only appropriate that we have dedicated this area. If you look around to your left, this is a cypress swamp, and it did not exist in 2009. We actually built this as part of the expansion. It had a wet kind of footprint, but we turned around and planted all these cypress trees, and you know, this area is important, I think, because of, again, talking about water. But for so many of the people who travel here, they've never been to a swamp, and we've got a swamp, in fact, and it's kind of like the Field of Dreams, build it, they will come. We have seen egrets and herons and spoonbills, and if you look at those logs, what do we got there? You see? There's turtles in each and every one of those logs. So just having water available is a kind of a cornucopia of bringing wildlife here. We actually have beavers that are occupying it. We have otters that are here, that are living. This is right in the middle of Georgia Southern University. And just last week, we had a deer, a big buck actually, an 8-point buck that was living back here and making it home. So it's real important. And a little known fact, you're from New Jersey, right? Mm-hmm. Do you realize you have one of the biggest swamps in New Jersey? Yeah, it's called the Pine Barrens Swamps of New Jersey. It's an immense tract of swamp in New Jersey. Most people don't realize it's the Garden State, and it is a beautiful, beautiful place. I've been there. So let's continue our tour. So Allison, what I'm getting ready to show you is one of our biggest attractions here at the Wildlife Center on 18 acres. Families are really, really drawn to it. So we're going to wind this bend around this walkway. This is a wetland conservation easement wetlands, but it's right around the corner. We're going to show you what we got. You know, Allison, this is a virtual family weekend. You say you're a freshman and you've not experienced it before, but normally the campus is crawling with families, and they're bringing siblings. We talked about you having a sister, but one of the biggest attractions at the Wildlife Center is very family oriented. I'm quite proud of it. It's actually to my left. It is the playground, and we implemented this some years back. I didn't realize what an incredible attraction it was until I realized my children are all adults now, but simply this, that we have a playground here that, as you can see on such a beautiful day, that is sheltered by the trees, tall, beautiful trees. We've got, it's all fenced in. We've got restroom facilities, something to drink. So actually just a playground for the younger and young of heart. I will say this, and I probably won't catch you here, but there's a lot of college students that like to get on our seesaw and start playing on the seesaw. But anyway, we enjoy having it. It's great to connect with young kids as well and enjoying the playground. Alrighty, folks, delighted to have you here at the Wildlife Center. You said graduate of Georgia Southern?
Yes.
Correct. What year was that?
2018.
2018. Don't know that you had a chance. This is, again, Freedom, and we kind of talk about Georgia Southern. It started with the idea, the Wildlife Center, of getting an eagle, and here we are with graduates, in fact, in a family. But what is your name, by the way?
Kinsey.
Okay, I want to let you touch. Have you ever touched an eagle? Okay. Get a chance to touch an eagle right there. Wow. That is so cool. And you know what? Your dad and mom didn't even do that, but I'm going to let you, sir, if you'll get that moment. And this is what we talk about. This is these moments you can't plan for. You just happen to come up on the Wildlife Center here during the family weekend. But what I'm going to do is make them appear to be right. If you'll look forward, we're going to have your photograph with Freedom. We're going to take the hood off, and we'll get a great shot of just you and our national symbol, our school mascot, and very, very good. And one thing for the daughter, if you'll do this, his name is Freedom. Will you say Freedom when I tell you to? Say, Freedom, show me your wings, okay? So 1, 2, 3. Will you say that? Say, Freedom, show me your wings.
Freedom, show me your wings.
Wow, that is, she needs to come to Georgia Southern. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So to everybody out there who participated in a virtual tour of the Wildlife Center and Georgia Southern University, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed it, learned a few things. I do invite you all to come not virtually, but in person to Georgia Southern University. And please stop by the Wildlife Center and get your opportunity to meet freedom in person. And to Allison, as the most perfect guest we've had, although we met before, let's conclude as we should with a photograph. If you'll step just a little bit closer, just one step closer, we're going to look to the camera. We're going to have our freedom moment yet again. And let's just wave to everybody out there in virtual land. We've enjoyed it.